And good morning. Throat failure, throat failure. Okay, I've got wagon loads. Yes, we are there. We are there. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Got to mute myself just for a moment. Hadn't used my voice for a while. And when I tried to say hello, discovered that it was not working as expected. Needs a little bit of maintenance. Okay. I acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, the Whadjuk Noongar peoples. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and to Aboriginal elders and peoples from other communities who may be taking part in this live stream today. As I started the stream, I looked at the camera view and I realized I haven't turned the light on up there. There is a thing that I normally do. Just this morning, someone was very disappointed that I do not follow a checklist at the start of live streams. And I have a checklist. In fact, I'm just opening it. Where is it? Oh no, it's not here. It's not in here. It used to be in my Apple Notes, and at the start of the stream I would go through this list of things to do, and it's obvious things like launch OBS, and things changed. I rearranged stuff, the list became less relevant, and over time it's got to the point where I don't have a checklist. And there are silly things like turning on the light in that 3D printer just because it provides back illumination, and I didn't do it this morning. And what I also do is pick up the big illuminated Superhouse sign. I clear Tom's desk, which is on that side, move the chair, and I sit the sign right on his workspace, which is why it's not there most of the time. It is sitting right in front of his soldering iron where he would normally be working, so it can't stay there. And I pick it up, put it up there, plug it in, power it up before each live stream.
1, 2, 3, 6.
1, 2, 3, 6. Crispy and testing. And I haven't because I don't have a checklist. Oh, okay. Time to read checklist manifesto. Okay, so good morning to who have we got here? Crispian, Wagon Loads. Got to click the thing. Come on. There we go. Get rid of that. Gavin Jackson, Stephen 4479, John Whips, Imi, Paul Schultz. How is it in Adelaide, Paul? What's it like over there at the moment? We're in pretty much perfect weather sort of mode here in Melbourne at the moment. Jazz Camp, what? Okay, folks. This is a special day. Jazz Camp is in the chat. Jezza. Okay. Now this is going to be a reunion chat then. Okay, so context. Jazz Camp 712. Assuming, this is a pretty big assumption, but I think it's a fairly safe assumption. Jez Kemp 712 would be my friend Jeremy from school. And Jeremy, so for more context, in the chat you see the outside the box user. That is Crispian from St. Michael's. So this is a bit of a St. Michael's reunion. Well, we've got 3 of us now anyway. And in fact, just recently I was talking to someone about climbing trips that we used to do. Climbing, going to Arapiles and other places. And I was telling the story specifically of the notorious incident where you and I were climbing with, I can't remember who else it was. No, I don't remember who else was there. And I was climbing unroped and removing protection. I'm pretty sure there were 3 of us, but I don't remember who else was climbing. There might have been 4 of us actually. Not sure. Okay. That is a serious blast from the past. Having Jez in the chat. Okay, so where are we? What are we doing? What we are doing today is beetlebotting and restart Fusion. Do I risk? Do I risk it all? Look at this. Fusion has just downloaded an update. I am going to live dangerously. Restart Fusion now. Yes, do it. You know, the worst thing you can do before doing a presentation is to do something like an OS update or just a software update in general. So why not do it while actually doing the stream? What can go wrong? Nothing can go wrong. Oh, Jess says, I'm feeling old, but I have photos of that climbing adventure. Oh, I've got to, if you have photos, I really, really want to see them. I definitely need to see the photos from back in the day. Just recently, as a result of that conversation of telling someone about some of the silly things we did on climbing trips, I was looking for photos, and there are particular photos that I was trying to find, and I'm not sure where they are. This was way back in the days before digital cameras, of course, so they're actual chemical exposure type photos printed at the pharmacy. But yeah, if you have photos, I want to see them. Hit me up at Gavin said 4 of us went camping and then there were 2. Yeah. Just in case you don't remember my email, you probably don't. It is years and years since, for context of other people playing along at home. JezCamp712 and I would have met probably around 1984, 1985, give or take. Something in that region. And we haven't actually seen each other in person for how long? When was the last time? There was a time that you and Ian came over to my place, but that would have to be close to 20 years ago. Yeah. 20 years ago, in that sort of region. It's been a while. Okay, so at least, where are we? Superhouse Projects, Beetlebot. At least Fusion seems to be working. Ooh, Wagonload says, I had an SLR camera with a 230mm zoom lens, heavy enough to need a pistol grip. What were you doing? Wagonloads, what were you doing? I'm looking back, Wagonloads. Oh, you need to automate the checklist. Okay, yep. I'm curious to know though, I'm kind of lost. What is the reference to the SLR camera with the 230mm zoom? What context were you using that in? I am doing a low energy start to the stream today. I shouldn't admit that. I'll be in trouble. I will be in serious trouble. So for yesterday, I tried to get the firmware running on an ESP32 cam. Andy has some firmware that runs on MicroPython. The problem is that the ESP32 cam, I really need to collect my thoughts today. I am not starting off strong, that is for sure. The ESP32 cam, the ones that I've got are old, really old. And where are they? Where are they? They're over there. I'm going to go and grab. the little bitty box of them and show you. Oh, I just realized I've got a coffee over here that I hadn't finished drinking. I should get onto that. So, ESP32 cam, I've got a bunch of old ones here, including this one, which I glued the little camera mount onto, and patch wires with the serial adapter. This is the one that I was trying to flash a couple of streams ago. Could not get it to respond for the life of me. And then I borrowed this from Andy, which is the proper official USB serial adapter that fits the ESP
Here is
cam.
some energy.
Here is some energy. Where's some energy? Henrik! Good morning, Henrik. Yeah, there's always energy when Henrik is in the building. Okay, so official USB serial converter for ESP cameras. ESP camera, plug it in. Comes up as a serial port. Of course it enumerates as a serial port because it's got the CH340G or whatever it is. Here's Henrik's energy. Thanks for the banana, Henrik. Give myself a dose of vitamin K and a little bit of radiation while I'm at it. So plug them together. It enumerates, comes up as a serial port on the computer, cannot flash. I have tried with, Tasmatizer, which just calls ESP tool under the hood. I've tried with ESP tool directly, and I've tried with Arduino IDE, just trying to load Blink onto it, which also fails. Of course, that calls ESP tool under the hood. I've tried with multiple ESP tools, including, so I brew installed an ESP tool and ran that. There is the embedded ESP tool that is included with the Arduino IDE, which it installs into its own weird location. Tried with that. Nothing will reflash this. Sex with Johnny. Here it comes. 20 of them. Where you at? Let the party go. Lights up, feel clap in this awesome show.
Henrik Ostrov said, could you try updating the bootloader on it?
No, I can't. I can't do anything. It will not respond. It's so, Johnny, thanks for the 20. I cannot make these boards respond. Just can't. I've got like a little box of them here. They do not work, and I don't know why. So these ones I bought. When did I buy them? I think I actually bought these while I was in China. Like I bought them over the counter at one of the stands in Shenzhen, and brought them home with me. They were the very first of the ESP32 cams, and they've got an AI Thinker module on it. It looks like a Vroom module, but it's not. It's an ESP32S, but that is not the MCU. It is a classic ESP32, probably before the D release. Like it's the very early ESP32. So this was...
I mean, I've updated the bootloader on Arduinos with another Arduino. Could you try that?
No, that will not work either. It's... yeah, okay, so you've updated the bootloader on an Arduino with another Arduino. So that's using one Arduino as a USB to serial converter, which is the job that's done by this, and also the job that's done by this. So I don't need to use an Arduino as a USB to serial converter. I have that sorted. The problem is the board just will not respond. It will not do its bootloader thing. So, okay. I can't let that stop me from making progress on the project though. So my plan is that I'm going to move this to here-ish so that we can see chat. And what am I going to open? All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fake... All right, I've got a plan in my head. I'm just not articulating it properly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make an object in Fusion 360 that represents the field of view of the camera as I believe it should be, and then I'm going to bring it into the assembly and place it as a visualization.
What baud rate did An use?
What baud rate? I've tried a few. Like I've tried 460K, tried 115K. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Paul says, my programmer reports my board as ESP32 chip, ESP32 Rev 3.1, 2 cores. Yeah, I can't even get it to do that. Like, I can't get ESP tool to communicate with the target. It's like it's not even there with any of these boards that I've got here. So my plan is to just buy new ESP32 cams, like buy modern ones, not these super ancient ones. Like maybe an S3 based type. Oh, okay, so in the chat, Henrik, I've already said hello to Johnny. Oh, and Vic Oliver is here as well. Chris Hiscox. And pulling too much power. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go plus, what I want to do? Hybrid design, assembly design, part design. Got to think about this now. Very annoying. Okay. New changes in Fusion are not good. Ooh, Simon CBR is here. Welcome. Okay. Now, I'm going to, no, even before I do that, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do modify, change parameters. And I'm going to set myself some parameters so that this can be modified as required. So let's add a parameter. I'm going to say FOV, oh, I can't do a dash. I can do an underscore. FOV HOR, and it is I'm going to go no units. I'm going to look this up in a minute. So I'm going to say 120 as field of view horizontal. Then I'm going to do FOV vert and no units. Make it, what's it going to be? Let's say 90, just as a starting point. What other numbers do I need? So I've got horizontal and vertical field of view. I think that will make me read Chris's comment. Okay. Chris says, if it doesn't work for me, I will force...
Chris comment.
Yep. Force GPIO 0 to ground and boot, watching it at 74880 board, and it shows if it's in flash mode or power cycle, etc. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, that 74880 board rate is a non-standard board rate, which I don't know if definitively all, but certainly all of the expressive chips that I've played around with, they start talking at that baud rate to dump out debug info on startup. And it's a very weird baud rate, but for some reason that's what they do. It's probably to do with the way the clock dividers and multipliers and stuff work inside with the oscillator in the MCU. So the lowest, got to stretch. So the lowest level way of talking to them to see what they're doing is to put them into bootloader mode with IO0, reset them, and watch serial comms at that baud rate on whichever. Also, when they start up, typically the debug output will be sent. It's before any code is loaded, so it's right early in the startup process. And you can't stop it. Well, there are ways to stop it, I think, if you set fuses. But typically that debug output will come out regardless of anything else. Yeah. Yeah, I've forced GPIO 0 low and all that stuff. That's what I was doing with this one. It's like they're just, it's just like they're dead. I don't know what it is. Oh, and Chris says, I agree that power supply can sometimes be an issue. Sometimes cables are so poor, the drop seems to stop getting to flash mode. Johnny says, normally USB allows 500 milliamps on USB. Powered hubs may allow more. Yes, I have powered it a couple of different ways. I powered it using this, which has, so this particular USB to serial converter, which is did I design this one? I think I did. Yes. Yeah, that's a USB to serial converter that I designed, but it was it was so long ago I've got to stop and think about it. It's got an onboard 3.3 volt regulator. It takes 5 volts. It signals to the computer to give it at least 500 milliamps of power. And oh no, this one doesn't because it predates the signaling. But on basic high-speed USB, you can get up to 500 milliamps. Then it regulates it down to 3.3. Anyway, I have these particular things I have used many, many times with the SP32s. And the other one, this one, is providing power. Yeah, this one also has an onboard 3.3 volt regulator. This is the official board that's designed to interface and provide power to the ESP32 cam. Okay, let's look up ESP32 cam field of view. I'm going to get I'm going to get an AI result, aren't I? Yeah, okay. Default stock lens, 62, 66, 150 to 160 default. Okay, so 62 to 66 degrees. It's the standard resolution narrow view. I don't even know what's on these. Like, as I said, I walked up to a counter in Shenzhen and said, I'll take a few of those, please. Although it was more along the lines of 5. You know, the classic Chinese negotiation of type stuff on the calculator, hand it over. They type stuff, hand it back. Passing messages. ESP32 cam, 65 degree field of view. Okay, but is that vertical or horizontal? That must be horizontal field of view, because typically if people say field of view, they're talking about how wide is the field of view, but then vertically it'll be less. So let's take 65 degrees as the figure. So field of view horizontal, we'll go 65 degrees. That is way less than I thought. And let's go, I don't know, 45 as the vertical field of view, which is going to be less critical in this particular case. Now, I've got to think about how I'm going to represent this. And I want to import it without having to rotate it, which means doing it on this plane. No, I'll do it on this plane, like this, facing in this direction. This is possibly going to seem a little bit mysterious. until it all starts coming together, and you will understand what it is that I'm doing here. So I'm going to move this out of the way, move that so that I can move this out so I can see more tools. So I'm going to lock my guideline there. Then where am I going to go? I'm going to add another, I'll add a non-construction line out at 100 millimeters. Let's make it 150 millimeters long. And then this is the bit where it gets tricky. I'm going to take from the point of origin and just take it out to there. And the length, I don't care about that. I want that to be a driven dimension. I'm going to set the angle, and I'm going to set that to FOV horizontal divided by 2. Oh no, not relative to there. I wanted it why is it doing it relative to there? Okay, I want the angle. Oh, I see. The angle to be off that line. All right, that's no problem. I can fix that. So what we can do is just freeball it from here. I'm just going to stick a couple of lines in without dimensions set, and then I'm going to do a dimension angled off here, which is going to be FOV that divided by 2, and another dimension off there. Same again, divided by 2. Okay, so now we've got ourselves a cone that represents the field of view of the camera looking straight down from above. And I'm going to turn this into a solid object. I'm going to make it symmetric, and I'm going to make it, how far? Let's make it, I don't know, 100 millimeters. No, not 100 millimeters. Let's make it 50 millimeters both directions. It's going to end up being trimmed down. All right. So now we have this cone that represents from the top down our field of view. So now let's do a sketch on, not on that. I'm going to have to hide the body. I want to do a sketch on this plane. And same deal. I'm going to, this one's going to be a construction sketch, take it out to here. Then I did it at 100 millimeters, didn't I? So that's a, what's the dimension here? 25, 50, okay, that's 25, so it's there. Is that construction? Yes. So I want to do a line, non-construction. It doesn't really matter. It's just a termination point for where the extrusion is going to happen. So now I can do a non-construction line. No, I said a non-construction line to there, another one to there. Yeah, I bet everybody can see what I'm doing here. And this is probably a pretty stupid way of doing this, but I don't care. It's the idea that came into my mind. There to there, FOV, vert, finish. So now I can select that sketch, turn the body back on, and do, oh, actually what I should have done, what I should do, okay, I could do an intersection. No, I'm gonna do this the lazy way, edit sketch, and I'm going to give myself some, oi, there, and there, there, and there. Yeah, so give myself some geometry to work with, some positive geometry. So I want that and that. Oi! Select, select. Ah, I'm holding the wrong key. Not on my game. All right, press pull, and I want to cut. No, I want to make it symmetric. and take it out to there. That'll do. Cut, cut, cut. All right, finally. And now let's do an appearance. What about plastic, like a translucent? No, not translucent. Let's do a transparent. Come on. Do I have any transparent textures? What? Thank you. Yeah, we'll just make it amber, just so that we can see it to some extent. All right. So that we can see it but see through it. And I'm going to call it ESP32 Cam FOV. I have been deliberately not looking at the chat while I've been doing this because I can't handle the idea of everybody shouting at me that there is a much better way to be doing this. All right, where is the ESP32 cam? It is there. And now I want to bring this into the design and move it around. Where's the camera? There, okay. Getting close. Needs to come down a bit. About there. Bring it out here. Somewhere in that region. Yeah, approximately. Just down a little bit more. No, not that much. Yeah, let's go -2. Yeah, that looks, yeah. -1. That's better. Yeah, close enough. All right. The point of this, the point of doing this, is that this now allows me to visualize the field of view of the camera and to see whether it is going to be obstructed by any of the bodywork. My plan had been that once I did this, I would trim, if for example the field of view intersected the body. Hang on, I've got a sneeze coming on. Oh, okay, now I feel better, energized. Yeah, so if the field of view intersected the bodywork, I would need to trim the bodywork back to allow it to clear. But I think what this is demonstrating is that the field of view of the camera, unless we went for like a super wide angle or something, is actually okay. But maybe I should check it against a wide angle lens just to see what it would be like. Oh, Wagon Loads asked, is the FOV hitting the antenna? Not quite. Not quite. Look at that. I mean, my vertical field of view is a guess. The 65-degree horizontal field of view is what came from the AI summary, which may well be incorrect. And then if that's 65 degrees horizontal, I just guess that it's like 45 degrees vertical because of the 4:3 aspect ratio. But it may not be. It could be that the vertical field of view is... actually, let's do this. 65 divided by 4. Oops. 65 divided by 4 times 3 equals 48.75. Okay, I should have gone for... Let's go for a 49-degree field of view on the vertical. I was vibesing that vertical field of view. So if we go modify parameters and we change the vertical field of view to 49 is possibly slightly overstating it, rounding up. Ooh, we got ourselves a problem now. Okay, let's see where the wink. My eyes are playing tricks. This is like an optical illusion. I can't actually tell what direction anything is facing right now. It's I'm trying to manipulate it using the space mouse and it's moving. My brain is not mapping to the way the thing is moving. So now that field of view is greater, so that exceeds that field of view, that is what is going on with the way that is being done. That is coming up to there. It doesn't really matter, actually, for most purposes, but I just want to see if that is being extruded. Why is it leaving that little bit there? Don't know. Could overshoot it. That would be a way of making it work. I could overshoot that line there. Oh, why is it? That line is not. That's why it's happening. Okay, that line needs to move to like there. Yeah, that's all it was. Okay, that was weird. I think it's just because I didn't actually dimension that off the origin point. I just drew a vertical line kind of on the basis of, oh yeah, that feels about right. Okay, update. Yes, now we have the increased field of view. And even with the increased field of view, look at that. It is just skimming the top of the thingy. Yeah, which is fine. Also, you'll notice that I've deliberately set the origin of the field of view when I was moving this this structure into place. I set it back here, sort of in the camera behind the lens. So the field of this is what I was aiming for was kind of a worst case scenario, because if this works, then it should be fine. I wonder if it would be worth angling the camera up. No, I don't think so, because we want to be able to see things that are immediately in front of the bot. So if it's sitting like this, in a slightly tail down position, not quite horizontal, like if we go to a properly horizontal position, imagine it sitting on the ground, and the ground would intersect through about here. So it'd be able to see things sitting out maybe, if it was flat, what's that distance from there to there? Not long, like 40 millimeters or something, 40 or 50 millimeters. It'll be able to see things sitting on the ground in front of it, not too far away. So yeah, I think that actually works pretty well. I think that's all right as a field of view. Now, one of the reasons also that I wanted to do this was to figure out if I can bring the ESP32 cam backwards. And I think the answer is yes. I don't like the fact that the way I had this set up, the PCB is just here, sticking out over the top. I want to bring it backwards to make it almost flush. So about 2 millimeters or so. If I, let's come back to the PCB layout and move those connectors backwards by 2 millimeters. I think the field of view will still end up in a fairly good place. All right, I'm going to have a quick look at chat. Ooh. Oh, Wagon Load says, did I try the diagram that you sent last week? I did not. That diagram was, well, I kind of have, because that is, the diagram that you sent last week was the schematic of the official ESP32 cam breakout, I believe. This board right here, which I did not have last week. I grabbed this from Andy, and, oh, maybe I did have it last week. No, not last week. Last time I streamed. So last time that I streamed about trying to connect to an ESP32 cam, I did not have this breakout board. This is the official ESP32 cam breakout board. And that one implements that circuit with the auto reset and everything on it. And yeah, so in that case. Simon asked a very good question. Will it even focus on something at a distance of 5 centimeters? Yeah. Ooh, Wagon Alert says make the camera tilt by servo so you can look up and down when getting near obstacles. Ooh. That is an interesting idea. That would mean tilting the whole ESP32 cam. I think it's going to be a little bit... what's my grid? What's my grid? No, I did not mean to do that. I hit the wrong button. I opened Obsidian instead of switching to Fusion mode. Okay, now, move. Let's move this back 2 millimeters. 2 millimeters. And so I'll push this to 3D and pull that change. Oh, and you can see that I've added the silk screen here that shows the outline of where the cavity is. Now, back into the assembly. Back in here. I can't remember if the ESP32 cam... No, the ESP32 cam is just aligned. So all I'm going to do is update components, pull the PCB in, which means the holes are going to move on the PCB, but the ESP32 cam does not move. There we go. So now I can move that. Yes. Oh, get the pop-up out of the way. There we go. Move. Move by 2 millimeters. -2. Done. And then the field of view I will also move by 2 millimeters. Move. -2. -2. Oh, come on. -2. Okay. And now it is fairly nicely flush. Not perfect, but pretty close. Certainly acceptable. I think that's fine. Yeah, that's good. And the field of view is still well clear of any of the side obstructions. One thing that I've been trying to decide is whether I should add a little ridge across the top part of the print, which is going to... Because I have this desire to make the print symmetrical, vertically and horizontally symmetrical. I don't know why, it just seems like it would be more elegant. We've got symmetry left to right, obviously. At the moment we have vertical symmetry, except for that little bit that goes across there. And the reason that exists is... So that little bit just there. The reason that exists is that it provides reference geometry for maintaining this distance between these two pieces. Because otherwise what we have is an H. Like if it didn't have that bit in the middle, this would just be an H shape, and these parts can flex, they can move in and out. And when you're putting it all together, it's nice if they are held in a very specific location by that. I've also considered putting a little one across the back here, like reinstating a strap across there. But that is where the battery slides in, so I want to keep it unobstructed. And what I have found is that these parts here can tend to bend in a little bit as I've been screwing them onto the laser cut acrylic pieces that I've been using for representing the PCB. Chris says, if I remember, the focal length on wide angle is about 1 meter, but not sure. Yeah. If this is the case, I would put an angle on the 3D print support for the cam and make it point upwards and see very little of the floor in focus. Yeah, so that might be useful for being able to see out to a certain distance. However, the focus, I think, on these can be adjusted. I'm fairly sure that the focus on these ESP32 cams can be changed if I'm gonna Can I? Can't I? I'm thinking about setting up, I'm going to temporarily switch to overhead view. So there's an ESP32 cam right there. Let's see if I can get this under the microscope. Power that up. Now where is power for that? Okay, so that's got to go into there. Do I have a microscope? No, the microscope is not on yet. Has that powered up? Oh, I know why. It's because the USB hub is not plugged into anything. So I've got to fix that. All right, I can take power off that laptop. Maybe, if the laptop is running. Nope, still no power. Okay, then maybe it can take it off the Mac Mini, which I think is running. If the Mac Mini's got a spare USB port that I can plug into. Looks like it does. Aha, now we have power. Yes! Now we have microscope. I'll get this kind of set up. And switch. Okay. Oh, got to zoom way out. Zoom out. And focus. Okay, so this is the ESP32 cam. Gotta grab myself some tweezers. And you can see that there is this little black ring with these tiny little knurled spots on it just here. That is the lens, which I think you can very slightly screw in and out, and that adjusts the focus. So I think it should be possible to make this, yeah, it's amazing how small these cameras are. Like you can see my fingers in here trying to hold the thing. I kind of need to use tweezers to manipulate it. So I'll get it eventually. Yeah, so that's the side-on view of the camera module, the OVF camera module. And I think if you rotate this ring, I don't really want to rotate it now, but I think from there you can adjust the focus very slightly. But it is tiny. Yeah, and that's an experiment that still remains to be done, seeing what the camera can see. Oh, Chris said, oh right, Vic says, I think they're glued in focus, can be wrenched, but yeah, so it'll take some physical... oh, are you going to use heated inserts to bolt the PCB? No. So Chris says the new ones, OVF 5640, have autofocus. Yeah. And Wagonlow's asked, can focus and field of view be controlled the same way you can on tablets? Not on these super simple cameras, but autofocus, according to Chris. Okay, let's have a look for, I think it's time to go shopping. ESP32 cam. ESP32 cam. Let's see what we can find. Just randomly clicking on the first one. ESP32 cam, 5 pieces, 10 pieces. What? Cam MB. What is cam versus cam MB? Okay, so cam MB comes with the breakout module, and yeah, okay, new ones. And which camera is this? OV3630. Okay, so let's have a look for ESP32 cam with OV5640. Is that the one? OV5640. Oh, look at these. little different lenses and things. Nice. 5 megapixel camera in this size. Crazy. Yeah. Oh, these new ones are, they are a big step up. Okay. ESP32 cam. Much more expensive though. Look at this. $27 for one. Also, that one's got the S3. Yeah, there are more processor options now than there used to be. Oh, my throat is not behaving today. $33. Why is this one $33? And the camera is looking in the wrong direction for what I want. Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder if what I if what I'm designing around here is the wrong thing. Because I've been designing this around these classic old ESP32 cams, which I bought many, many years ago. Maybe that is not what people will have these days. ESP32 S3 cam, $27. There is a big difference between that and like a $10 thing. So there are a number of differences though. This has got the S3 processor on it, which is the newer, much newer Espressif processor with built-in USB. It's got USB on board, and it's got the...
Want to add Metricano holes or mounts to BeetleBot?
Probably, yeah. My intention is, so for those of you who couldn't hear, Vic just asked if I want to add Metricano holes to BeetleBot. So the intention here is that the top plate that goes onto this, like if I turn that on, I'm just using a PCB here to represent the top plate. The top plate itself will be different to the bottom plate, and the top plate could have a mount for an arm, or it could just have, so we were talking about just putting a Lego plate on there. So glue a Lego plate on top, and that can be a way to plug things into it. Or it could be a Metricano grid, or a combination of different things. The top plates, I think, are going to end up kind of interchangeable. You'll be able to put a different top plate on to do different things and just use the same underlying chassis. So the top could just be a laser cut plate with Metricano holes, or it could be a PCB top plate with signals brought up to it and other things. Oh, Vic says autofocus equals bootleg rangefinder. Yeah. Yeah, if you can get data back out of the camera for it to tell you what its focal distance is. Although once it gets beyond a certain point, it's effectively infinite focus, so it wouldn't be able to tell you things that are a fair distance away. Oh, Crispian says for that price you could get LiDAR. Could you? Could you though? I don't know. I am not so sure. LiDAR. Let's. I haven't looked at low-cost LiDAR stuff for a while. LiDAR tends to be power hungry. I mean, it's very good, but power hungry, and also it doesn't necessarily solve the problem that the camera is trying to solve, which is things like having the robot drive around the room and telling it to find the blue ball. That sort of thing is a camera job, not a LiDAR job. Okay, so the robot with motion. No idea how good these things are. Slamtech C1, $61. Let's just have a look. 12 meter, large range, D6 LiDAR, D300 LiDAR. What's the difference? No idea. And that is a side quest that I do not have the brain space for right now. But yeah, LiDAR, how big is this physically? I want to see if it would fit nicely on the top of the bot. Quality guarantee. What are the physical dimensions? Okay, so the models are D6 versus D300. What are the spec differences? D6 versus the D300, which is not even listed here. D6, 4 kilohertz, 0.9 degree accuracy, 10 hertz sampling frequency. Oh, okay, it's because of the speed of rotation. So scanning frequency 10 hertz. Yeah, 60 lux. The actual dimensions 52 by 45 by 54. So, you know, very hand wavy. It's like 50 millimeters square. Yeah, that would fit on the top of the bot, no problem. Minimum measurement distance. UART. Yeah, okay. Cool. For future. Got to come back to LiDAR later. All right. I am going to speed run this coffee. Give me a second. Okay. Now, Wagonload said, can you just use a standard ESP32 and an SPI camera? Yes. And that's what this is, I believe. The OV5640 and OV2640 is, so that's showing 2640 in the photo, and it's saying 2640, 5640, and it's not giving any option of which one you pick. So my suspicion here is that what they're doing is keyword stuffing, and they put OV5640 on there to make it match when you search, and then when you buy it, you actually get the thing with the 2640. So let's find one that is explicitly the, oh, yeah, these are some longer form factor ones here. I don't know. Ooh. ESP32 S3 AI camera dev board. That's a very different form factor. It's a square sort of thing. This one here is similar to the ones that I already have, I think. Oh, Wagonload says, I mean a full-size ESP32. What do you mean by a full-size ESP32? Because these ones do have an ESP32 on them. It's... Oh, why? I just opened the same ad again, didn't I? Yes. I want to find an ESP32. Okay, so that one... download board, cam with downloader, cam without camera, cam with camera. ESP32 cam. This looks just like the ones that I already have. Like, exactly like the ones I already have. Same silk screen and everything. So, buying one of these is not necessarily going to get me any better off. Oh, ones with more than 30 breakout pins. Yeah, but that doesn't matter because this is only being used as the camera. This is not controlling the bot. This is just the sole job of this board is to take images from the camera and stream them via Wi-Fi back to the machine learning system that's going to be processing the stream, which will then use ultimately use a VLA to to determine how the robot should move, and then send the commands back to the other ESP32, which is the one that moves the chassis. So this, what I'm looking at here is, or appears to be, exactly the same as what I have on the bench in front of me, except that, oh no, it's even the same there. Everything about this is the same. So why can't I make it work? Why can't I flash it? It works very well, apparently. Yeah, it's even got the ESP32-S module, which is the AI Thinker module. It's not an ESP32-S3. It's an ESP32-S. Ooh, it's got a tantalum capacitor, so it's got to be good. Voltage chip. Yep, there's a good voltage chip right there. Why can't I flash it? Why can't I flash it? HS2 data 0, HS2 data 1.
At Tinker001 said, because your existing especially cam boards are typical Chinese especially cam boards.
Wagonlight says, I've been wondering how to give an ESP32 cam a public address. Yeah, well that is not specifically an ESP32 cam challenge. That is just a straight up networking challenge. So to do that, typically, if this was on the network, on my Wi-Fi, and it was exposing its web interface, what I would do is set up a port forwarding rule in the firewall so that a particular port on the public side of the firewall exposes the necessary port on the internal device. So basically, punch a hole through your firewall, mapping onto the internal target IP. But that's going to depend on how your firewall is set up, what devices you're using. I'm kind of spinning on this because I'm annoyed. HS2 data 0, IO4, IO2, IO1. The labels on there do not match the labels that are on this, particularly up around here. What does it mean by data 0, data 1 and data 2, data 3? HS, clock and command. I think that must be, yeah, why HS? What is the HS prefix? Isn't HS2 clock the same GPIO 02? Let's see. HS clock is the third pin down. On this board, that is IO14. Ah. What? Oh, HS equals horizontal sync, says Simon. But, well, in some contexts, does that even make sense in this context? I'm not sure that it does. 3.3 or 5 volt output. Oh, that's useful. 3.3 or 5 volt output. Which do you want it to be? Yeah, whichever. I'm in a weird mood today. I'm in a very floaty, sort of spaced out mood. How do I describe this? I am balancing between being amused at things that are stupid and raging against them.
Tinker001 said, I have an especially cam board in the drawer here that only reliably functions if it has a big honkin' cap attached to its power rail.
Oh, that's interesting, Tinker. David says, what? I don't know if I should even repeat what you said in the chat there, just in case. All right, I'm not going to repeat that comment. Oh, I see. In the bricks you repointed last week. Okay. If I'd only seen the first comment there, David, that could have been, yeah. But it worked so well. Yeah, you got me. So David's comment was, yeah, I dropped some acid this morning. Long pause on the new brick mortar. In the bricks I repointed last week. Yeah, so I'm in this weird mood where I'm partly, I see something like this, 3.3/5 volts output, and part of me goes, haha, that's so funny, that's so stupid. And part of me is like, that's so stupid. Chris says, on mine the CSI M clock is GPIO 0. CSI, yeah, this one here, clock, which is the third one down, which on this particular board in front of me is labeled as IO. What is it labeled as? It is the third one up in that direction.
It is time for
<clears throat>
squirrels.
No, third one down in that direction. All right, I'm going to chuck this under the microscope. Oh, we are really into squirrels. Because the labels on this are so small. See if I can get some focus. I've got to get the angle right as well. Okay, so this is IO4, 2, 14, 15, 13, 12, ground, 5 volts on one side. And then on the other side, 3V3, 16, IO0 there, ground, VCC, etc., UOT. So IO0 is the, if you're looking at it, so this one here, IO0, it's the third one up, and if we flip it over, it's going to be the third one up on the right-hand side. So it is this. Now, so third one up on the right-hand side right here. And that matches M clock that you're talking about. So if I have that view and I switch to this view, that is approximately the same thing. You can see third one up, right-hand side, CSI, M clock. Yes, same as mine, says Chris. All the components are in the same location? Yes. If I switch between, let's see, open image, a new tab. Let's see if I can almost overlay it. There. Where's the microscope view? There. Okay, so it's got to come down and right. It's got to get bigger and come down and right. So CSI M clock, which is just there, is the one that is third. I'm trying to use the cursor to point at things on the screen there. That's not going to work. So you can see the AMS 1117 voltage regulator at the bottom, whatever that other flash memory chip or something, maybe? I don't know. Whatever that other chip is, and then the, maybe I can see it there. No, can't read it. Don't care. So that is IO0. Okay. Tinker says, try flashing it with the 10 microfarad electrolytic across the power rail. Yes. There is no spoon. Okay. Yes, because I had a matrix experience. So if you're not following the chat, this was talking about the acid for cleaning the bricks. Vic says, I dropped some in my electrolysis cell, forgot about it, left my spoon electrode in it overnight. There is no spoon. Acid will do that to you. All right, I am going to try once again with flashing this one. So third one up. Okay, back to this. No, I'm going to use this one because it's the one with the actual official. Why does that have IO12, IO0, and that goes to there? Hang on. Is that going to... No, that's not going to ground. Surely not. It must be going... Sorry, I'm talking to myself. Okay, I'm going to buzz out a connection on here. I feel like I kind of looped back to to something that I had moved on from, but it's because this is bugging me so much. So let's see if we can figure this out. We'll figure it out. Okay. Now, this board is the programming carrier board. This button supposedly asserts IO0. Now, according to the pins that we were looking at, that is IO0 just there. It is the third one from the end on this side, so it should be, that should be IO0. So I should be able to get continuity between there and the button, one side or the other. Maybe. There we go. So that button is connected to the IO0 pin. Now, where's the reset pin? And I'll check continuity to that. Where is reset? Where is reset? I can't see it. Come on, where is reset?
At Tinker001 said, probably still less frustrating than teaching an 80-year-old how to use her cell phone.
Yes. Yes. It depends on the person entirely. Where is the reset connection on this? The labels on these particular ESP32 cams are not very useful. They don't. It's hard to explain why. They just show things that. All right, I'm going to switch to microscope view. I'll find the spot. Okay, up here, for example. So we've got UOR, UOT. Now, I can figure out U0R, U0T. I have never seen those labels before in my life. That is not how I would label something. What it actually stands for, I am pretty certain, is U means UART, 0, it means it's serial port 0, and R would be receive. So it's UART 0 receive, UART 0 transmit. But that's just like, it's non-standard labeling. You've got to stop and puzzle over it and figure out what the hell is going on. And it's just like that on these boards. They are not particularly easy to figure out what's happening. So, yeah. All right, here we go. So this is the programming board. Ooh, it's had some rework done on it. That's interesting. What is going on there? Is it rework? Yeah. That is a 0 ohm resistor that has definitely been reworked. And it looks actually slightly offset from the position it should be in, which makes me wonder whether it is making a connection. Sorry, it was out of the field of view. Whether it is making a connection, out of the way. Field of view, got to get it there, at this end, because it is actually, from this point of view, it is a little bit further north of the pads. That'll just be power coming through. I actually don't think that's the problem because the board is powering up. Or maybe, oh no. I know. Let's find out. Let's measure this. I'm going to chuck a USB cable into this and see if we're getting the correct voltage coming out at the other end. So, come on. Interesting. Okay. See that power LED? That comes on. However, that power LED is coming directly off the USB 5 volts. That is not showing that the voltage regulator is running. So, it'd be kind of funny and sad if it turns out that the board just was not powering properly. But let's find out. Put it into voltage mode, and I'm going to do some probing of the critical bits. Let's see what voltage we have coming off on the other side of that. Oh, 4.8 volts. Okay, so that's 4.8 volts. What is on that pin? Oop, I'm in the way there. 3.27 volts. Okay. Well, turns out the voltage regulator is working properly. But let's stick an electro on there just because. Do I have an electro there? Oh, I've got something handy here. My little boxo bits on the bench. What is it? It's a 25 volt, 100 microfarad. Yep, that'll do. Let's stick this on the 3.3 volt power rail, which should be, where is it? That capacitor right there should be across the 3.3 volt rail. So if I double the capacitor up across that one, that should give me, but
At Tinker001 said, most common failure of older 32 Spanish Pesetas boards is brownouts when the chip fires up Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Which it does without being told to do so during boot up.
Yes. Oh no, that's across 4.8 volts. Okay, so where is a capacitor? Maybe this capacitor? No, that must also be, what is that one? That also is 4.8 volts. What about this capacitor? This little Duvalaki right here. That's 3.3 volts. Okay. So this board that is powering it has this capacitor, hang on, this capacitor here at the bottom, this capacitor here at the top, across the 5 volt rail, and it's got this teeny tiny little one here across the 3.3 volt rail, and that's it. So there is no other bulk capacitance on it, and the board itself has got a tantalum on it, the funky yellow thing there, but it doesn't really have any other bulk capacitance either. So let's try this. I'm going to, which side's ground? So positive is that side. So I am going to bend the pins on this electro and put it across the cap like that, give or take. Whoa, where's field of view? Field of view for you in the camera is different to mine looking external because the camera has got a bit of a twist in it. It's not sitting straight on the third optical path, which is something I could fix, but then I'd have to refocus and adjust and everything, so I'm not going to do it right now. All right. A little bit of that, a little bit of that, just to make it happy. A little bit of that, and a little bit of that in a way that will not cause the two legs to short. Yeah. Okay, so now we have the serial adapter board with an extra 100 Mickey farads. So I'm just going to plug in the USB with nothing else plugged in to make sure I got it the right way around. It doesn't go bang. Yay. Doesn't go bang. So now let's get ourselves all the way back to where we were before, which is trying to flash something onto this board. Onto this board. All right, and for the sake of simplicity, even though it's probably not the simplest thing, I am going to, what do I need to unplug? If anything, do I have any other devices on USB? Don't think so. I think I've sanitized all my USB. I was about to say USB buses. ATM machines, PIN numbers, USB buses. Okay, so what's going on right now is that I'm opening Arduino IDE. I just want to try to get Blink onto this thing. Anything. I don't care what. I just want to try flashing something onto it. Get it to respond. And I might try ESP tool in a minute. ESP32, ESP32 dev module, ESP32 S3. Is there a cam? No, if I just make it ESP32 dev module, go for the generic profile, that should do. That should do. Ah, now I've got to wait for it to rejigger its thing. Switching board profiles. Come on, Arduino, with all your stupid file operations. Every time. Little beach ball spinny. Spinny, spinny, spinny. Hurry up. Okay. Examples, examples. Oh, beach ball spinny to open the examples menu. Spinny, spinny. You can do it. You're traversing a file system. Okay, basics. Blink. Opening, opening. Yeah, there we go. Open. Let's try this. This is probably, is LED built-in even defined on this? I don't know. What device is 84201? Because all right, we know it's not 84201 because it was not even plugged in. Port 21310, that must be the one because that's the one I just plugged in. And go. I feel like a nap. Who else feels like a nap? Do you feel like a nap? Let's see. Used eMessage, says Vic. Yeah. Oh, LED built-in was not declared in this scope. Yeah. That's fine. LED built-in. Let's just make it, I don't know, 5. I don't care. Whatever. There is an LED. What is this LED? Is it an RGB LED? I have a feeling that there is actually an RGB LED on these boards. I just want to see if I can upload it, see if it'll flash. Okay. I'm holding down IO0, pressing reset, letting go of IO0. So it should be now sitting there in bootloader mode. Oh, white LED on GPIO 4. Ooh, okay, I should have made it 4 instead. But the critical thing now is whether it can upload. Can it? Come on. Uploading. Oh, this is the bit where it's going to sit there in timeout. Connecting. Error. Hard resetting. Stop, iterate. Yeah. Changed. Oh, hang on. We got an ESP32 Dowd coming back, uploading, changing baud rate changed. Yeah, so the problem here is that it's the auto reset circuit. That is the issue here. I don't think it can auto reset. Ooh, this, I believe, is more progress than I have seen at all. So firstly, I'm going to change that to 4 just to make it recompile. Hang on, what am I doing? Recompile. Yep, verify. Oh no, I shouldn't have done that. I should have done upload so that I can get the ESP tool command. I'll get there. And that. Just got to wait for it to finish its interminables. Okay, done compiling. All right, upload, and now it's got to compile again because it's stupid. Can't you, Cache? Can't you tell the fact that there has not been any code changes? No, you cannot. So you compile it all again. This is a kind of me being annoyed at the world stream, isn't it? something hold GPIO to ground when powering on. Yeah, that's what the button was for. Did that. So yeah, the problem I think in right now, this specific instance, is that the argument to ESP tool is, yeah, so it failed to connect that time because I did not put it into bootloader mode. So let's break this down a little bit. Let's do this. In fact, let's do this. Where am I going to go? ESP tool. I want to break down. Ooh, no. Board that. Yeah, this part right here is what I want to separate out. Right there. Because you see how it does flash freak keep, flash size. Yeah, I don't really care about this other stuff. Keep. Okay, this is where it starts starts pushing the binaries. What I might be able to do, I wonder if I can do these in segments. So push it's doing 4 segments. Okay, I'm going to make this come out a bit so it doesn't wrap. And what you can see there is that it's doing the, at hex 1000, it's uploading the bootloader, then the partitions are being uploaded at 8000, the app0 binary is going in at E1000, and then at 10,000 is the actual Blink binary itself. So what's happening here, I believe, is ESP tool is not do right flash, what is Z, yeah, is not being able to reset after doing...
At Tinker001 said, yeah, no.
That.
Easiest way to check if it's actually communicating in flash mode is to simply erase flash using ESP-tool.
Yes. But I think what's happening here is, because I was manually putting it into bootloader mode, it was successfully uploading the bootloader, the partitions, possibly the app binary, like the boot binary, but not the app binary, because it was trying to execute a reset in the middle. So if I just upload, let's just run this manually outside of the context of Arduino IDE to see what happens. So I haven't touched anything. This is going to fail because it cannot put the MCU into bootloader mode. So it's connecting, it's going to time out, which like it would have connected by now if it was going to. Yep. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to hold down IO0, press reset, let go of reset, let go of IO0. So now it's in bootloader mode. And if I do that same thing again, it is going to start. It'll connect and identify the target chip, which we will see in just a second. Or it should. Why is it not? It's failing again. Why you fail this time? Why did you fail this time? It worked a moment ago when I was doing it in Arduino IDE. Monitor the serial, then hold flash button, then power up and make sure it says in program mode. Yeah, okay. Let's do that. Let's do cool term. New version is available. No, I don't want to. And options. I want the weirdo baud rate, but I'm going to go for, was it 21301? I think that was the one. Let's just find out. I'm going to unplug it, rescan the, how do we get it to rescan? Maybe if I just come out of it and back in, will it rescan? Nope. If I, oh, there was a rescan button right there. I didn't see it. All right, so it's not 84201. I'll plug it in again. Rescan serial ports. It is 21310. What was that weirdo baud rate? 77,000 something. Where are we? What is the default? Yeah, what's the debug baud rate? I can never remember it because it's such a strange thing. 77,400 or something. 74,880. Okay, awesome. Thank you. So baud rate, let's go custom. 74,880. And yeah, that'll do. Connect. All right, now if I do GPIO 0, then reset, let go, I'm getting nothing. 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 Just pressing reset, nothing. All right, I'm going to disconnect, change the options. If I set, it may be that the max serial driver is having trouble with that baud rate. If I set it to, what I often see, like if you have 115,200 set as the baud rate, then typically you will get the debug messages coming up. It'll just be garbled. But I'm not getting anything. Nothing. All right. Unplug and plug it back in. And look at that. Watchdog timer is triggering over and over again. So whatever baud rate that is doing, well, it's connected at 115,200. So, Working Load says, try LSUSB and see what comes up. Yeah, I can see what the serial port is. Okay, I'm going to try putting it in a bootloader mode again. You can see, look, you see the RX down the bottom right. I'm going to hold in IO0. It says waiting for download. Okay, waiting for download. I'm pretty sure there is nothing on this ESP32. Like, it has never actually been flashed because it does not. They didn't behave in quite that way. normally you have to reset, not just press IO0 to get them into download mode. So I'm going to disconnect from there and do that. And so normally you have to have IO0 changed. Okay. Yeah, chip stopped responding. Why did it stop responding? Oh, hard resetting. Okay, so start flash, changing baud rate, hard reset, boom. Okay, back to here, connect, reset. All right, I'm gonna do clear data, unplug it again, plug it back in, and then we get all of this again. Flash read error. And then if I press IO0, didn't go into, oh yeah, there we go. Goes into bootloader mode again. Anyway, I'll do a slow upload at 115,200. Okay. Yes, that's a good idea. Where flash board, let's bring this out. And yeah, thanks for...
At Tinker001 said, starting to think the board is just junk.
Yeah, I'm at the point of, it's kind of a, how long do you keep wasting your time for situation. Disconnect, so that I can then do that. Before you just say, it's not worth my time to be screwing around with this, I'm just going to buy new boards, like buy modern ones. That's the point that I was at already. What did I screw up on this? Board, 115,200. Surely you can, I thought you could have comments like that in the middle of a shell thing, but maybe you can't. Yeah, that's weird. You should be able to have commented out lines. What? What? Huh. Okay, let's see if little blinky starts blinking. Hard resetting. I don't think the reset is actually going to work. I'm going to press reset manually. It's not actually blinking, but maybe now. Yeah, Tinker. Woo bloody who, yeah. Now if I connect.
At Tinker001 said, woo bloody who.
Do I get anything? Reset. If I do a disconnect and then a reconnect, do I get its... Whoa! What? Was the reset button not working? I have a feeling the reset button is not working on the breakout board, because that upload completed, I pressed the reset button and it did not start running. I power cycled it and now Blink is running. So I don't think the reset button on this serial breakout board is actually working. That would explain a bit. All right, so where does that put us? I don't actually know, to be honest. Yeah, Tinker says, that's Blink with intent, kind of painful. Yeah, I'm seeing stars because I made the mistake of looking at the LED. Okay, I am curious now. if the reset button on this is working, I am going to be very confused. Let's find out. Where's the reset pin? Where is reset? In fact, I don't even remember seeing a reset pin on this. Where is reset? Where is reset? Where is reset on the headers? Is it even exposed? What the hell? There's reset underneath. Hang on.
Tinker001 said, multiple board design faults.
Yeah, hang on. On this one, where is reset? Like, seriously, where is reset? There, sorry, I was on the wrong camera. Look at this. Am I going mad? Where is reset on these pins? You can see there's the reset button here on the board. I've been pressing reset on the carrier board thinking that it was resetting the actual board. I bet it's been doing absolutely nothing. All right, I want to find out what this reset pin is connected to. So let's come back to here and look at this. So the reset button is there. One side will be connected to ground, and the other side, oh yeah, so there's a connection to the CH340, so I can do software reset. Looks like it goes to one of the first couple of pins. So I'm going to buzz it out and see where it goes to. So ground should be there. Yep. So this is the connections on the pin that pulls reset to ground. Now, the end of this diode, I think, should be the reset line, which it is. And now, where else is connected to that? Which pin? It'll be one of these. So I've got to try to connect onto that. It's the first pin. It is, so reset is connected to this pin. I know it's zoomed out on that camera, so you can't really see it very well. It's this pin here, which on this camera is this, which is ground. What the hell? This board has two grounds. And what? So basically, it was trying to ground to ground. Ground. All right. Yeah, I think this is a multiple generations, multiple variations of these boards situation. Okay, on this ESP32 cam board, there is a ground there, and there is another ground up there. I'm going to bring it up on here. Yeah, look at this. See, there is this ground here, second up from the bottom left.
Tinker001 said, check if that second ground actually is ground.
Yeah, Tinker, that is a very good point. As I was just looking at it under the microscope, I could see that it was linked by the thermal reliefs to the
You had
the
grounds
plane.
for suspicion.
I did, Vic. And see, there's another ground up here. This ground up in the top right, the reset button on the serial carrier board connects to this. And when you press it, it links this pin to ground. So, this is my analysis so far. This board here does not expose reset. Newer versions of the board expose reset on this pin, which used to be one of the ground pins, and the carrier board that I have is designed for the newer ESP32 cam that has that as a reset pin. How is that for a roundabout weirdo thing? Is that EN? Does that say EN right there? and that would be upside down relative to this one. 5 volts VN, 3.3 volts there, IO2, EN. So EN is enable. This seems to be upside down. Life. What even is it? Okay. Reset button. There is no reset on this old board. Wagon Load said, does it use RxTX to do a reset through handshaking? I think it would only do that.
Tika001 said, scroll back up. RST was shown on the back view.
RST was shown on the back view. Scroll back up. Where are RST on the back view? Back view, you mean this view? Or this view? That looks like EN to me, which is enable. But that doesn't even seem to be in the right place. Oh, here. Oh, RST, yes, that is next to the button, though. That means that's the reset button. Yeah, okay. Oh, Chris says, I can confirm my board, the pin label ground is not connected to ground. Oh. The Thlot Plickens. Let's have another look. Let us investigate more fully. Okay, so the suspicious ones are that pin and that pin. So that one is definitely ground. That one is also definitely ground. So on this board, both of those pins are tied to ground. Oh, I saw a comment about 3 ground pins. Someone else had 3 ground pins up in the chat. What is that with the 3 grounds? Okay. No, I'm going to go back to this one. Come on, there's a ground. There's a ground. There's a ground. You're right, there are 3 grounds. Why are there 3 grounds? They just had spare pins and filled them up, and someone had a brain fart and went, we don't need no reset pin on the header. Let's use it for a 3rd ground. So on this one, does this also have multiple grounds? Can't read it. There's a ground in the middle there. There's a ground there. And this one is an EN, which is enable, which is reset. Okay. Wagon Load says, I used the ground next to the RxTX pins and powered from 5 volts in the opposite corner. Okay. So that 5 volts there, and then used the ground next to the TX and RX pins, which is over here. In any case, I think the lesson is I was about to say what I thought the lesson was, and then I changed my mind. My first thought was that the lesson is to not trust these things to be consistent. But then the extrapolation from that is, if you want it to be consistent, do it yourself. So, no, I do not want to go down the track of designing this onto the BeetleBot carrier PCB. That would be annoying. I do not want to have to do it. I want to stick to using ESP32 CAM modules. the thing is, what we have to do is find a module that we can get consistently with pinout that is sensible and that is at a reasonable price. I don't mind putting a USB to serial converter on the carrier board. Like the circuit that is on this carrier, that one underneath, I can build that, this one. I can just build that onto the BeetleBot PCB because my intention is to put a USB-C socket on the BeetleBot PCB for connecting to the primary MCU and for charging the battery. I could put a second USB socket on it for connecting to the ESP32 cam for flashing purposes, just for convenience. And I can include I know they're rubbish, but I could include a CH340G or if I put a CP2102N on it, that's annoying because then you've got to load the profile onto the chip. Simon said you could also take a look at the cameras that Arducam sell. Arducam. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Yeah, so we could maybe take one of these cameras and just mount it. Arducam, purchasing our cameras. Yes, I wish to purchase a camera, please. Sensor interface platform. I want to filter by AI camera module. Ooh, this looks like good, like high-end stuff. Global shutter camera. Ooh, very useful for high-speed work, for machine vision type stuff, where anything is moving. Platform. Okay, I want ESP32, and I want. What other filters can I apply? Interface, probably SPI. Sensor, don't know. What have they got? These are, yeah, if you were doing a real robot, maybe these would be a good way to go. Well, that's just got a USB cable on it. But Arducam 519 autofocus camera module.
At Tinker001 said, all WaveShare. I no longer buy pre-made 32 Spanish pesetas modules from anyone else.
Yeah, WaveShare. Ooh. Auto completed because this is what I was doing. I've just designed this module into a board and assembled a couple of prototypes on Friday. The P4 module. So yeah, there's a board I'm working on that has 4 MCUs on it. We're only using 3 of them. One of the spares is inside this module. So we've got an S3, an H2 and a P4 all on the same PCB. It's a 6-layer double-sided load, fairly kind of intense sort of thing. Let's see, what do they got? So yeah, I've been using WaveShare stuff recently as well. Cameras. Accessories. MISC. Cameras. What about? ESP32 cam. Yeah, okay. Let's see what they got. Oh, that one only. ESP32 S3 AIoT camera development board, integrated audio. What are the different camera options? the OV5640 is the good one. $20 US, I assume, so it's like $30 Australian. Which would be by far the single biggest, most expensive part of the BeetleBot. Ooh, it's got a pair of mics as well, so that it can do direction. It can do direction analysis and distance analysis. 2 mics is enough to give you. Well, no, you need more. Yeah, I was just thinking through the geometry of what you can do with the two microphones. What connectivity does this have? Let's see, what's on the other side? None, almost. Speaker, battery. Oh, it's got some, oh, it's got a UART there, it's got I2C on there, USB, display, connection, SD card. I don't really want to redo everything now around this. Okay, what is their lowest price thing? $16.99. Is that with the GC0308 camera?
At Tinker001 said, 2 audio inputs, just like your head.
Yeah. Yep. Needs little ears on it. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna ignore that for now. Purchase our cameras. I'm being so frustrated by this because this project, I should have sent these boards off for production a couple of weeks ago. And it's kind of been delayed on mechanical restrictions, which have been determined by the ESP32 cam. But the ESP32 cam is not behaving. And therefore, I'm not sure if it's the right choice. So then I don't complete the other part of it, and then I just don't make any progress. So I'm kind of going in circles on this. I need to break this stagnant loop. Got to break it and move forward. So let's think of a plan. I think that now I have got a little bit more of a clue of what is going on with this, and maybe now I will be able to actually flash the flash this with MicroPython and do stuff with the camera. My gut feeling is to stick to these cheap ESP32 cam modules and work around the annoyances of them. And hopefully new modules. So if I bought a newer ESP32 cam, hopefully it would not have that pin pulled to ground. Although this particular one, yeah, on this one it says EN. That way, ground. That one. Yeah. So this one has this pin pull as the reset pin, not as a ground pin, which would match the carrier board that I've got. So I think what I need to do is design the BeetleBot PCB around the newer generation ESP32 cams, which have that as a reset pin, which means I can put the USB to serial, I'm thinking of all sorts of words here, the USB to serial crap on the carrier board and be able to reset the target for uploads. Oh, John said, is it beyond the realms of possibility to cut the ground track from the RST and use a bodge wire? That is a really, really good suggestion. I suspect the answer is not easily. It depends whether this is a 4-layer board. If it's a 2-layer board, then yes. So, thermal relief. The reason is this is how it is structured. So the ground pin that is on that corner has these little spokes coming off it. So there is the ground plane that is around it, the pin which is soldered to the pad, and then it's got these 4 little spokes. What I could do is use a scalpel.
Tinker001 said, aren't the AliExpress especially cams more expensive than the Waveshare?
Maybe. I will check that, Tinker. Yeah, you might be right. I wasn't thinking about the price in that context, comparing them. Yeah, so what I could do is use a scalpel. I could cut each of these little 4 spokes, which would isolate the pin from the ground plane. And I'd have to do that both top and bottom, because I think both sides of this board are a ground plane. What I don't know is, if it's a 4-layer board, there is very likely an internal ground plane, in which case I can't cut it. I can't isolate that pin, because I just can't cut the intermediate layers, which would be fairly easy to determine. I could cut them top and bottom, and then I could buzz it out and just see if that pin is still shorted to ground. Crispian said, wouldn't those spokes be inside as well? Yes, exactly, if it is a 4-layer board. Wagon Loads, look at my last 2 comments. Okay, scrolling back.
Wouldn't those spokes be inside as well?
Wagon Load said, can 2 mics do echolocation? Can you use a different MCU and connect it to an endoscope? Connect it to an endoscope. Yeah, I have various endoscope cameras here. The ones that I've got have a USB interface on them, like just a USB-A connector, which means they need to plug into a USB host. Oh, Vic says pop the pin out of the hole. Yeah, that would also do it. Then I just need to jump her up around from the reset button. Well, now that I know this, I can reach in between and press the onboard reset button. That will do the job in terms of just testing this and making it work. All right, a quick check. So this is 27 Australian dollars for the S3 based ESP32 cam. The Waveshare one, Waveshare, oh, back to here, Waveshare, yeah, yes, okay. Sorry, I could get back to it through history, but...
Would it be possible to overcurrent him and melt him inside the board without destroying the board?
I think that would be a bad idea, but I also don't think it's even necessary. The only reason for doing that is to get access to that reset pin from the carrier board, and I don't think it's necessary. Now that I know what's going on, and the fact that the reset pin on the carrier board, the reset button on the carrier board is not working, now I know why it's not working. It's a mismatch in the pin assignments. I can get around that by resetting directly on the target board by reaching in with a pair of tweezers and pressing the reset button. So now I know how to get it into bootloader mode. All of my effort around trying to get it into bootloader mode was around IO0 and having that in the correct state. Never occurred to me that the reset button just wasn't working. The fundamentals. You neglect the fundamentals, and it comes back to bite you. A direct quote from Bill. I can't do his voice though.
At Tinker001 said, I posted the Waveshare link again.
Yep. Thanks, Tinker, taking me straight to it. Yeah, I paused then because I was starting to go back to Waveshare, and then I thought the quick way to do this is just like in browser history. And then I thought if I open that menu, it's kind of weird. I've got this thing going on where things that I would do very quickly if it was just me sitting at the computer, everything I do, I have to have this mental background process running of, if I click on that menu, is it going to reveal things I don't want to reveal? Because you're looking at my computer screen. All the stuff I'm doing, you can see. So, yeah. And it's not that I expect that if I open my browser history there's going to be anything, you know, untoward in it. It's just there will
We'd get
be...
to see John's porn habits.
Yeah, there won't be anything untoward. It's just that there'll be like history of work-related things and whatever. There will be things like the names of private GitHub repos and all sorts of stuff that would be, if I clicked my history thing and it just went, this is everything I've been looking at in the last couple of days. So, yeah. A lot of the time when I'm doing things on stream, I'm doing things the hard way because I'm trying to work around the, around that sort of limitation. Not doing things, like not being careful about pulling up shell history because it might have passwords in it. And like if I just Control R and start doing stuff. Yeah, photos of the insides of server racks. Cable porn. There is so much that I would do by reflex that if I do it on stream could inadvertently show things that, yeah, whatever. So, yeah, I have a history of doxing myself. So I just try not to if I can possibly avoid it. Ooh, a couple more people have joined just as it's like after 12. Or I'm noticing after 12. David I've already said hello to. Tinker I've already said hello to. Also, Holy Flame. And Sharky. Welcome, Sharky. I think the best thing that can come out of this right now, this whole process of figuring this out, is a clear plan. Because I have been futzing around without a clear plan. That's why this is stalled. I think what I want to do, I think my clear plan is going to be that. Oh, I wonder if this one says reset. Oh, look, this 3D model says ground, ground, ground. But this pin up here on the modern ESP32 cam boards is reset. And IO0 is there. Okay. What this means though. Okay, while I've got this in my head, let's do some labeling of some pins. See if I can at least get this straight. And if I do this while people are looking over my shoulder, I am slightly less likely to screw it up. So, with this orientation and with, what am I looking for? That is upside down. You turn me inside out and round. So that's 5 volts, that's ground. So on the right hand side, the second one up, I had already done that. So second one up. That one is the one that I think I want to be reset. Is it? Let's see. This one down here, EN. Yeah, so this one is going to be, oop, wrong style. I want flag style 0.05 inch there. And I'm going to name that one Cam RST. So that I know where. Now let's find IO0. IO0 is it that one? wish these were easier to read. Where is, can you read it there? No. There, or is it over here? No, IO0 is over there. Okay. So it is going to be third up on the left side. Yeah, and then 3v3 is there. Yes. Do these have an onboard regulator? Do we feed them 5 volts or 3.3? I think we feed them 5. So bottom right is 5. Third up on the left is IO0. So I'm going to go, that one is cam IO0, and that one, I think, is 5 volts. I should just open this image and turn it around. Or how about I do this? ESP32 cam pin out. Maybe this will make it a bit easier. And that one, but I want it upside down from this point of view. So, open in new tab, that, and now I want to, save image. No, not copy image. I want to save it. Save image as. Stick it temporarily, yeah, stick it on the desktop. That'll do. And then I want to do preview, open that, and this is going to mess up labels, but where's the flip tool? Is that it? Yeah. Does not support editing. Yeah, okay. Just do it. Oh, duplicate as TIFF. Oh, hang on. It's opening on another window. What is going on here? Come on. At least try to be a little bit intuitive. Okay. So, this is the orientation that matches what we want. So 5 volts in the bottom right. That one. So, I'm going to kill that. I'm going to drag these out more. Give myself a bit of space. Do I have a... See, this isn't a change in Fusion that just happened recently that pisses me off.
Aussie orientation.
Yeah, Aussie orientation. I hadn't thought of that. One thing about Fusion is that it has a habit of throwing things into your field of view that obscure the thing you're trying to work on. Look at this. So there is now this browser view which overlays on top of your workspace, and it just gets in the way and impinges on the things you're trying to do. Then, oh, and look at this. Paste. It has now just thrown up this dialog, which once again is over the top of the workspace.
Did you mean cam, not can?
You're right, I meant can. Cam. Cam IO0. Thank you for picking that up. Cam IO0. So, and now if I grab the move tool, look at this. Say I'm here and I want to move something here, and I select the move tool. Boom! There is now a move dialog that is like blocking what I'm trying to get to. Or if I wanted to select things, say I wanted to select this, grab the, I know, the group tool is okay. It's just, UI annoyances. UI annoyances. All right, let's stick in a supply symbol. And the thing is that it just keeps getting worse. Oh no, I wanted a 5-volt supply, didn't I? Look at this, now I'm adding a part. I want to add it actually up here in the top right because I'm going to put it up there and then run a trace up to it. I can't put it there.
KICAD, KICAD.
Yeah, I've heard that one before. I can't put it there because this stupid pop-up is obscuring it. So I've got to move the canvas to clear the space, and then I can do it. And now that I've got the net tool selected, once again, it's obscuring the workspace. It's just throwing things up in my face. It's like pop-up ads. They just get in your way. I'm getting grumpy now. Oh. And the thing is, they didn't used to do that. Like this just, yeah. It did not used to do that. This little browser thing that dropped down has just appeared in the schematic view in Fusion in the last couple of weeks. It wasn't there previously. And there's no reason for it to, it's not even useful. Why is it there? And things like move tools, move options were not shown in a modal dialog previously. And yes, you can move it around, but it's still in your friggin' way. Yeah, the options were not shown in a modal dialog.
65 display nowadays.
Yeah. It used to be that if you selected, like if I select the move tool, I would just have the move, like the cursor would now be the move tool. But now I've got this pop-up, and if there were options I wanted to select for the move tool, you do it through the menus, not this pop-up that gets in your way. And if you close the pop-up to get it out of the way, that has now deselected the move tool. I now cannot move the, oh, what? It has not deselected the move tool. No, but I think that is the default behavior. If it was something different.
Tinker001 said, I see menu dots on those pop-ups. Maybe can kill them.
Yeah. Yeah, you can dock them. Like you can reconfigure it so that it tiles differently. But I am tired of fighting with software that was working perfectly well and gets changed to become more annoying. I just feel like giving up fighting with it after a while and saying, screw you, I'm not going to use you anymore. If you're trying to make my life hard for no reason, just stop. These product managers just need to hear the message of, if it works, stop fiddling with it. Stop trying to add things that nobody wants or cares about and just get in the way. Okay. I have been trying not to fall into rant mode over the last couple of hours. I failed to hold back the tide. The rant mode has arrived. Okay, what else am I going to do here? I am going to move that supply thing down there because I'm going to use that for the S3. This, what am I going to do? I think what I'm going to do is, for the ESP32 cam, I'm going to hook up a USB to serial converter and link it so that the reset goes to that pin. Alright, one of these pins was also ground. I should resolve that while I'm here doing these connections. So that one is ground, which is now reset. So fourth up is ground as well, that one there. So let's deal with that. Let's put a net on that one, tie it to ground. So we've now got the two ground pins connected. We've got the reset pin pulled out to a net. We've got the IO0 pulled out to a net, and we don't really care about any of the others, I believe. Unless we wanted some kind of an internal communication method between the two ESP32s, which we may not do. I could bring... No, I've got to bring the UART connection out anyway. So how about I name that? Let's name the UART connections. We've got okay, so the second one down is TXD0 and then RXD0. TXD0, RXD0. Oh, and there's a... Yeah, okay. TXD0, RXD0. So that is cam TXD0, and this is cam RXD0. And then there was a second UART down here I noticed. So we've got U2 RXD, but there is no, the matching TX pin is not exposed anywhere, which means it's not useful, so who cares? All right, I should probably label the other nets. P out, okay. GPIO0 third up, we've already got connected, so that is cam IO16 on there. That one. Cam IO16. I'm using this prefix just because I'm going to have the other ESP32 on here. And then that is 3.3 volts, but I'm going to leave that unconnected for now. And then I've got 4 to 14, 15, 13, 12. Okay. Oh, not that one. Cam IO4. Cam IO... What was it? 4 something, 15, 12. I can't remember.
CAN bus TX.
CAN bus TX? Where? CAN IO 4, 5, I think it was 5. I'm going to check again. What I could do, if I was clever, is... No, not that one. This one. If I actually had a clue what I was doing, I would move that to about there. And then do this and this. 4, 2. Okay. 4, 2, 14, 15. Cam IO 14. Cam IO 15. 13, 12. Cam IO 13. Cam IO 12. IO 12. And I don't think we're going to connect these to anything. So we're going to supply 5 volts to the cam board through there. We've got a ground connection. That is the 3.3 volt rail for the cam board, but it has its own onboard regulator. So maybe what we should do is bring that 3.3 volt rail down and stick a cap on it. I think that would be a clever idea at this point, just to make sure. So what is that pin? That pin is one that we can't see right now. So up below RX, oh, that's V out, P out, whatever that is.
Tinker001 said J1 pin 7.
J1 pin 7. J1 pin 7 is what? Oh, CAN TXD0. Okay. CAN bus. Playing with CAN gain. J1 pin 7 CAN. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing any CAN stuff on this. Not off this MCU. This MCU is purely going to be taking photogs and pushing them to the AI. So, P out. Okay, so we've got P out, we've got 3.3 volts. So I am going to call this one CAM. I'm so used to typing CAM 3v3. And this one is CAM V out, whatever that is. I'm going to leave that unconnected. So I'm going to take CAM 3v3 and let's stick a cap on it. What do we stick on? Stick on an 0805. Right about there will do. And the ones that I commonly have loaded in a reel are 22 microfarad. That'll certainly help. Stick a ground on it. Link it to there. Okay. So that capacitor, I could add, not copy, move. I could add more capacitors on here. Let's throw some non-connect symbols on there. Symbols, fiducial, no. I want supply symbols, NC, yes. 4 to 14, I'm not going to connect to any of these pins as far as I know. Reset I will, TX-RX I will, V out I am not, IO0 I will, IO16 I will not. Yeah. Wrong label, says CAN. Have I been typing CAN again? CAN TXD0. Okay. I'm reading them all now. CAM. Not an N in sight. Okay. So then I just need to add the USB serial circuit to go into there. And what I'm tempted to do is to go for the seriously dodgy Superhouse Projects CH340G just to match it. Now, where archive? Let's pull back into the air quality sensor archive. What was on 2? I can't remember. I went through at least 3 different USB to serial converter versions on the air quality sensor. Oh no, this is, this might have been a CP2104. Let's find out. Let's go on a little adventure. Not there. There, what is it? Oh no, this is a 2102N. Okay, so I had a 2102N on it. Then I went to at a certain point I went to a 340, and then I switched back to a 2102, and I had something else on it early on. Can't remember what.
At Ticker001 said, CH340 is best serial chip.
Really? Okay. Oh, no, by this point I'd gone to the S3, so I didn't even need a USB serial converter. So by version 4 of the AQS, it was an S3. Okay, I'm going to close that. Don't save. No, I haven't saved anything. I zoomed. What are you talking about, Fusion? You put the dirty flag on the file because I zoomed? Really? Maybe? Could be. Alright, I'm going to get rid of that. What else can I close? I don't need that open. I just want to rationalize the tabs up here. Yeah, I'll save this one now with the field of view thing added into it. And then on here, I'm going to have to actually look up the circuit in order to do this properly, but let's start by throwing some things down. What about we start by throwing down a CH340? Yeah, what are the USB serial options have I got in my library already? So there's the CP series, of course. There are several different ones of those. There is an no, not that one. I was thinking of the ULN, but no, that's yeah, Darlington Array. It's not that one. Yeah, I think I will just go for the CH340, that one right there. Stick that one on. And what do I need for it? Well, firstly, I need a USB socket. So let's grab one of those. Connectors, USB-C. No, USB-C 16P is the one I want. I'll go for a horizontal one. That it? Yeah, that's the one I typically use. And then I'm going to need a dual transistor for the auto reset circuit. Going to need a few other things as well. So VBus, I'm not going to power anything off this USB connector. I'll set this up so that it is, or will I? I don't suppose it matters. Could just connect it to the 5-volt rail. No, I won't. Alright, D plus and D minus. Ooh, it's a pity about that offset. Oh well. Oh well. D plus to D plus, D minus to D minus. Yeah, that offset bugs me. It bugs me so hard that I am going to realign those parts and put the dog leg in. I've just got to live with it. There. Put in the dog leg. XIXO. Yeah, I'm going to have to look up the circuit of what is associated with the CH340 to finish that, because I can't remember. I definitely need a couple of grounds. What else do I need? Oh, CC1, CC2. They only matter if I'm going to be running power out of this. ESPA 1 and ESPA 2. I don't think I need to have connected. VCC. So I'm going to be running the CH340G off the 3.3 volt rail. So I'm going to stick that there and do that. TX, RX. In fact, what I can do is move all of this to a place where it makes more sense. Do this. because the serial comes in on the left side of the ESP32 cam. So we've got TXD and RxD0 here, which got to connect to here. TXD goes to RX and RX goes to TX. So let's do that. Oh, I just deleted the labels. Let's bring one back. Okay, RxD is back. So now, this is TX, which goes to RX. Okay, which means RX goes to TX. So we go from there to there. Alrighty. I should probably label those nets, shouldn't I? I should. And then watch me not do it. So cam RST, that is going to come off. All right, what's going to go in the middle here is I think it's no, it's not a Darlington, it's a, what's the term for it? The way the two transistors cross over, I can't remember. Anyway, I need the little dual transistor auto reset circuit in there. So I'm going to need to make myself a little bit more room. For now, I'm just going to pull this way over here, give myself heaps of space, and then I can optimize space later. So I'm going to end up with the auto reset circuit right in the middle here, linking to IO0 and reset on the cam board. I need to finish the connections on here, and I need to decide what to do about power on here, and maybe put some ESD protection on it. ESD protection? Never heard of it. I think it may be, no, it's not in there. I think it's in my diodes library. TVSs, here we go. This, I want a couple of these. Yeah, there, and there, that'll do. Take that across. Ooh, maybe I could do it this way. That'll look kind of neat. Like that. Oops. There to there. Yeah, that looks kind of neat.
At Tinker001 said, trade the CH340G for a CH340K. You won't need the crystal.
Oh, yeah, because of the XI and XO. Yes. 340K. Is the pinout otherwise the same? So these pins here, so what Tinker is talking about is part of what needs to be connected on this CH340G is there is a crystal, the XI and XO, that is for the crystal input and output, like the driver output and the to get the resonant frequency off the crystal and then through here. So
at Tinker001 said, drop-in replacement.
Oh, nice. Okay. So what I should do is simply mark those as do not connect pins, and get me a marker. Here we go. And change the part number there to, yes, I want to change the value to 340K, CH340K. Tinker, is that what you had in mind, approximately, give or take? Around about? Okay. Yeah, that putting crystals on it is annoying. I don't know why it's annoying, but they are. They annoy me. I'd rather not do it if there is a self-contained equivalent CH340K. That said, I do not have any CH340Ks. So, let's go shopping. LCSC. CH340K. And I should go shopping on DigiKey as well.
At Tinker001 said, exactly, I have a whole bunch of boards with spots for crystals, but no crystals.
Ah, cool. This is a different footprint. This is a SOP 10, I believe. Where is it? Yeah, ESOP 10. Which means it is not pin compatible with the particular footprint I've got on here, which is a SOP 16. So what I should do is I need to make a new symbol for the 340K with the SOP 10 footprint. It'll have, most of those pins are going to be, well, not most, many of those pins are going to be missing. Let's see what DigiKey has to say on the matter. Performing security verification. It says that every single time I go to DigiKey for the last few days. I suspect DigiKey will not even carry the 340. Yeah, it's like a Chinese source part. WCH, it's a Chinese company. So, okay, next thing for me to do then is I need to make a footprint and a symbol for the 340K, and I need to order some. What have we got here? How much are they? 50 cents US. Tempted to order 100 just to, I'm going to stick 100 in my shopping cart just to stick them in the cart and remind myself to come back to it. I may well adjust that volume down because I'm not going to need a huge number. But then, if they're a good little USB serial chip to have around, it's probably worth having 100 of them just ready to go. Yeah. So, I need to make myself a note. Enter text. Make footprint and symbol for 340K.
At Tinker001 said, my bad.
SOP 10.
At Tinker001 said, oh poop, not K, C.
Oh, C, 340C. Ah, okay. Let's do that anyway, just while I come back to here and do CH340C. 340C, well, that might save me some work. Maybe I should use the 340K. 340C, yeah, so that is a SOP 16. Okay, so 340C is, and they have pretty decent stock. All right, I'm going to stick 100 of those in my cart. And then I'm going to go back to the K. That's 340C, 340K. What is the deal with the K? It's a USB to serial converter. It is G, C, B, T, K. All right, let's do a quick little comparison. So the G is what I have been using in the past, occasionally. That's what I've got stock of right now. So it's got pins 7 and 8 are XI and XO, so that's the crystal pins. The 340C has no connect on 7 and it's got out on 8. The K, okay, so we've got RTS, CTS, DTR. We don't have the R232 pin. We don't have DCD and RI. So what I need to do is check whether the 340K is adequate in terms of the handshaking pins that it has. Oh, okay. So Tinker has just posted a link to a data sheet. Let's see. Data sheet. And, oh yeah, it's just an English version of the one that I'm looking at. Cool. I think. So that's 11 pages long. What's this data sheet? This one, 10 pages long. Yeah, it looks like the same data sheet, but in English. Yeah, well, that reduces the degree of difficulty just a little. Okay, so I kind of like the idea of going with the 340K just because it's a smaller part, it's slightly cheaper, and it doesn't have all of the extra pins that I probably don't need or care about. So 340K. I need to check whether 340K is enough for everybody.
When will dinner be served?
When will dinner be served? You're making me hungry? You're trying to make me hungry? Crispian? CH340M with USB-C connector on AliExpress. CH340N. What's the N version? That one there. Yeah, RTS. I think it needs more than RTS though. CH340N. Okay. CH340 ESP32 reset circuit. Let's see what pins I need coming off it. Give me a schematic. Here we go. CH340 with auto reset. Come on. Oh, that is so hard to read. My eyes are bugging out. And why is it backwards? Why are people like this? Oh, okay, so what we need is RTS and DTR in order to drive the auto reset circuit. We need RTS and DTR. So the 340N does not have DTR. But the 340K does. It's got RTS there, DTR there. So the 340N I can't use, sadly. That would be nice. So back to here. Back to here. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop. Even though it kind of feels like I'm on a roll now. It took me 2 hours to actually get to the point of making any progress. And now I am making progress. But. Alright, I'm going to get rid of that. Don't save. Delete copy. And yeah, make footprint and symbol for 340K. I want to use a 340K, so I'm going to leave that note in there. Yeah, and replace the 340G. So I'm going to change the value on this one to 340C so that I don't confuse myself in future. So that is a CH340C.
001 said you should order a Waveshare cam board to try out.
Oh yeah, that's true. I should order some more camera boards. Top 10 for a 340K. Yeah, that can stay there. So I need to reproduce that. Step 1, before I put the reset circuit in here, is I'm going to replace this 340C with the 340K. But that is going to mean messing around in the library editor and making the part for it. And I don't have the spoons for that right now. So I am going to... I'm going to look for nourishment. Yes. Vic, says, a motion to adjourn is always in order. Yes. All right. Motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Is anyone seconding the motion? No. Oh well. Wagonload says, would a Raspberry Pi with webcam solve any problems? That would be a very heavyweight way of doing it. That is how we did it on the simple bot, which I have in the box just down to my left, which is one that I showed on a previous stream. And this is kind of an evolution on from the simple bot. Yeah. So that one had a Raspberry Pi stuck on top of it. But I want to do this with microcontrollers, not with a full-on Unix, like Linux stack computer sitting on top of it. I just want a bit of basic MicroPython doing its thing, running on some microcontrollers. All right. All right, one thing I will do is I'm going to change this from a simple note into a sequence. To do, whoop, that's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted. If you press enter in here, it doesn't give you a new line, it closes the tool. You got to shift enter. Okay, so make footprint and simple, add auto resent circuit for cam. Then I need to add USB to primary ESP32. I need to link H bridges to ESP32. I need to add voltage regulator. Oh, yeah, it's already there, but let's add battery connection. That'll do. Oh, and also I need to add I/O connections for riser to top plate. I think that'll do. Next steps. There is a plan. That is the plan. We just need to execute it. And that is approximately in order, I believe. Yeah. Wagonload said, is this robot going to be AI enabled? And Vic replied, yeah, but not locally. Yes. So the plan with this, the general architecture, is that it is a mobile platform controlled by an ESP32, which has mounted on it an ESP32 cam, and the video feed from the ESP32 cam will stream wirelessly back to, it'll connect wirelessly, stream that video, which could go to a laptop, a PC, it could be going up to some cloud-based service. Basically, the video goes into a pipeline. It is then processed in that pipeline for various purposes like object detection, and then a VLA is used to determine what the robot should do. The output of that pipeline from the VLA then gets sent all the way back to the bot and uses the ESP32 connected to the motors to drive it around. So it's a closed loop where the video goes through the AI, which then sends the command back to the bot.
Pictures of toes to China.
Stream pictures of toes. Yes, it'll be ideally set up for that sort of thing. Now, close. Preferences uploading progress. Alrighty. Zonked, tired, and time to go. So, I didn't even ask about nerd brags. Oh, but I will remind once again the upcoming barbecue, which was going to be in 2 Sundays' time. Oh goody, I just quit out of Fusion. I was quitting out of Fusion, and this is what happened. It is unable to quit without crashing. Describe what you were doing. Exiting
Chinese
Fusion.
foot fetish robot.
Send report. Yeah, so the barbecue that was going to be in 2 weeks' time is now in 3 weeks' time because
Time to rest and restore spoons.
Yeah, thanks, Crispian. It conflicted with Mother's Day, so yeah, it needed to be shifted. All right. Thank you, everybody. Time to crash out. Time to do something. Time to get outside. Get out into the world.
At John Dashwib said, not a nerd brag, but I've been watching using my new BenQ 32 4K monitor.
Ooh, that is a pretty cool nerd brag. A new monitor is always a good day. Yeah. Oh, Wagonload says nerd brag. I'm trying to make fake JSON for SQL that does not support JSON in JSON. JSONception. Okay, I'm going to go. Thanks for coming along. And, Jazza said, check your email for that climbing photo. Rather disturbing, only because it's from about 36 to 38 years ago. Ooh, I am going to have a quick look.
At Tinker001 said, thanks for the stream, John. Relaxed enough to let Mum keep her phone now.
Relaxed enough to let Mum keep her phone. Yep, good. All right, I'm trying to find that. The question is, what email address did you send it to? Because email that you had from me from like 15 years ago may not be valid, Jeremy. So, yeah, post on a Discord if it isn't too bad. That's why I'm delaying ending the stream. I am looking right now to find out if it is in there and if it is something suitable that I can show. So, Jeremy, the best email to get me on these days
Post it on Discord if it isn't too bad.
Is John, Jon, at oxer, oxer.au. That's the short version of it. You can also do the com.au version. That works just fine as well. But John at oxer.au will get to me. So maybe it went to an old email address. I'm just checking other... I've got... How many Google, like Gmail accounts do I have? I think I've got at least 7. I'm just going to quickly check a couple of other Gmail accounts to see if they ended up there. Not in that one. Don't know. Well, Jez, if it's not too late, and make sure. Oh, the Superhouse one. Okay. I don't think I even opened that account. Check in that inbox. No, it's not in that one. I'm going to check in the... That one. Ah, there it is. Oh my God. That is a photo. Oh. I so want to show it, and I so do not. I'm scared. Hang on. That is crazy. Did I actually look like that? And the other expressions of what the hell are you doing? No, I am not showing this photo. I am not showing this photo. Oh, and there's Grant as well. I went skiing with Grant. It was like sometime, it was post school. Okay, I don't even know what to make of that. The glasses that I'm wearing, the hair, but even that is not the craziest bit of it. I'm not even mentioning the thing that is the craziest bit. All right, I'm just sitting here amusing myself at this point.
Show it.
No, I am not showing it. No way. Not on a stream. Maybe I will show it to people, possibly in person, while I am cringing. But I am not going to show it on a stream where it's going to be immortalized publicly. Oh, that is funny. I just got a message from someone saying I have to show it. Okay, the person that sent me the message, it is actually one of the photos that I was looking for photos from that exact climbing trip to show to that person that just messaged me that says I have to show it. I will show it in person. I will not show it on a stream because that is just mind-blowing. It's not actually the photo I was looking for. For reference, in this photo, yeah, but they're not shorts. So I'm losing it on stream, aren't I? I need to get off this stream. The photo that I'm thinking of was taken probably within minutes of that photo. The photo that Jeremy just sent me then is of me standing at the bottom of a climb, just standing there. There is another photo that I have somewhere that is me actually climbing, like it's a photo taken from a little distance away of me on the wall. Yeah, that's the one that I was looking for. And Wagon Load says, are you wearing bell bottoms? It is way worse than that. Wagon Load says, does he have shoulder length hair? Yes. I've got so much hair. No, okay. This is funny enough that I am not going to show it, but I'm going to describe it. I am wearing lycra pants that are like a leopard skin, and climbing slippers that are like, skin tight. They suck onto your feet so that there's no movement and you get maximum friction and nothing else. So yeah, me wearing leopard skin lycra pants. Okay. Yeah, it made me laugh. Thanks, Jeremy. John says, I'm tempted to freeze frame and look for the reflection in John's glasses. No, don't. You may need therapy afterwards. Okay. Okay. I am going to leave it there. And maybe go and cry in the corner a little bit. Yeah. I was so skinny back then too. It's just like visible abs.
Guru.
Okay. I'm going to go. I'm going to go and cry in the corner. Thanks for coming. And I will see you all later. Bye.